1862 by a dog. His name was Juno. The dog and his master, John Knox, were out hunting. The dog disappeared. They couldn't find him. But they could hear him barking. He noticed a hole on the side of the hill, so he went and got a candle, came back, stuck his head inside that hole, and he found his dog. And he decided to go in a little farther, and he discovered the cave. Now in 1862, who can tell me what was going on in America? Civil War. John was a peaceful man, so he knew if he said anything, he would eventually get back to the soldiers in the area. Because it was just months before we had a major battle in southwest Missouri. It was at Wilson's Creek. Over 2,500 soldiers lost their lives in that battle. And John knew this because soldiers were actually taking caves all over the country. They were taking him for the purpose of bat guano in the cave. Because if you have bat guano and you shovel it up and you put it in something like this, you add water and you let it sit for about 24 hours. It'll get real muddy, real slushy. Then you put it in a kettle and you cook it down. You cook it all the way till it crystallizes. We call that saltpeter. You mix that with sulfur and potash, and you get gunpowder. Now, if you were a soldier or an army, and you had your own supply of gunpowder, and the other guy didn't, then you had the advantage over him. And John was a peaceful man, so he didn't want that to happen. So he kept it quiet until 1867, and he put an ad in the Springfield paper, and those ladies answered that ad. And they actually brought groups into the cave off and on till the 1880s, when they decided to expand everything. So they dug out the openings and the exit so they could get a horse and wagon in here. They started stringing the lights in the cave, and they started charging a nickel for tours. Most of Springfield did not have electricity at the time. So they came all the way out to the cave, they paid their nickel just to see that new invention called the electric light bulb. And they actually did that for many years. That's how they made their living. In 1917, there's a gentleman from Polk County. He actually bought the cave. He upgraded the lighting, and he actually extended it on back farther into the cave. They just got finished doing that when the 1920s came around. You want to tell me what happened in the 1920s?
Great Depression.
Not yet. That's 1930s. Prohibition. Prohibition. Alcohol is illegal. Gambling is illegal. Fun was illegal. But the local sheriff decided that if he couldn't see it, he didn't care. So they brought everything down in the cave except the still. They left it on the surface. Where the stage is, they had a large dance floor.
Wow.
A bar along that wall, and they had a piano up here.
Wow.
Across the way, they had a gambling table.
Oh.
And they had a grand old time for about 3 years. Then there was a shooting in the cave. One person got killed. That's when the sheriff stepped in and he closed them down.
Wow.
Now after that, various groups were in the cave. The Klan was in the cave for a while. They used it for a hideout and a secret meeting place. They pretty well gave that up when World War II started. During the 50s, they used it for church service. And the 1960s came along. There's a local radio station in Springfield. They started doing a weekly radio show from inside the cave, and it was called Farmerama. And they actually had country music stars would come down in the cave and do a show. Mr. Buck Owens had the largest crowd in the cave. It crammed over 700 people into this room just to see Buck Owens. And that lasted till the 70s. There's a country music group. Who's been to Branson? If you're driving down the strip, and you're going 2 miles an hour, bumper to bumper traffic, there's a large billboard that says Presley's Country Jubilee. And they got their start on this very stage in the early 1960s. Their show was so popular, they quickly outgrew the cave and they had to find a new home. So they opened up a music hall in Branson. They were one of the very first ones there. And their music actually took off in Branson. Because now you go there and there's hundreds of shows. So in the 1960s, we started using the Jeeps and the trailers we have now. And in the mid-70s, when we quit doing shows in the cave. We've only had one show since then. That's Presley's came back and did a tribute show. Raised a lot of money for charity. So in like 25 or 30 years, we had done any shows in the cave. Anybody have any questions?
The water test, what do they see with the water test?
When the water test,
The one gentleman was talking about testing the water.
they check for pollution. Because out by the Springfield Airport, there used to be a chemical plant.
And what do they find these days now when they check it? What is the pollution level?
I think it's PEP or something. Right now, we have no pollution indicated. But it took almost 40 years to get that down. Because Lytton, they actually dumped a lot of their chemicals into the ground. But they had to pay and clean it up. So slowly it went away. Every 2 weeks they come into the cave. They check humidity, temperature, water evaporation. And they can control all that with just air flow. They can let more air in or close it up and not let any air in. So, but yeah, they do that. When it started raining, the water we seen, they were in here the next morning. They were checking the sinkhole, the water coming into it. They're checking the water in the bottom. And
Is it like a geological?
yes, the guy on the video, he actually owns a company. He's like 15 employees. So they check all the cases. You guys ready to see some bats? All right, we're going to go to the next room we call the breakdown room. And we actually see a couple bats in there.